Thank you. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of this legislation is to remove a disparity in calculations in PERSI calculations for part-time elected officials. Idaho statute governs the PERSI benefits that are eventually paid to a part-time elected official, like a mayor or a commissioner, who also has been elected or appointed to full-time government service at some point in their career. A split calculation considers both the part-time and full-time portions of service in determining the retirement benefit for most, but not all, elected officials. In 1990, new legislation created a different calculation for legislators, allowing all of their years of service to be calculated as full-time, creating a dramatic spike to those pension payouts. No other elected official can claim this same calculation or advantage. And if I may, I would like to turn some time over to the good gentleman from 21 to share an example of how that calculation
Will the gentleman yield?
The gentleman yields.
The gentleman has the floor to continue the opening debate.
Thank you. Good Speaker. You do have a handout on your desk that looks at this little spreadsheet we put together. So here's a case of some folks. First of all, you know we all put into PERSI at the same rate. State puts in 11%, and the employee puts in about 7% more. So we all put in this at the same rate. And I have a situation here where we have a part-time, let's say Mayor Max, earning $16,800 a year. And he works for 30 years as a public employee. The last 42 months, maybe as a full-time appointment to some department. $102,000 a year in my example here, at least. So Mayor Max, as we go through the PERSI calculation of what he's contributed during his time as a mayor, the split calculation takes into consideration those many years of part-time service, and then takes into consideration those years or months of full-time service. And so at the end, in this split calculation we've heard about, Mayor Max would receive $1,800 a month as his retirement benefit. Now, Representative Steve did the exact same thing. He worked 30 years, the first many years as a representative, making $16,800. And for the last 42 months, he also was appointed to a nice high-paying job with the Department of Agriculture at $102,000 a year. Not qualified, but hey, I took it. Representative Steve has a pension of $5,100 per month after retirement. Both Mayor Max and Representative Steve contributed the same amount, month by month, year by year, into PERSI. That same 6.79, the same 11.23, in it went. In fact, we'll notice that both Mayor Max and Rep. Steve had contributed over those 30 years $145,000 to the PERSI account. Both identical. And yet, Rep. Steve will take home nearly 3 times as much in retirement than Mayor Max will. This is the pension spiking that we're talking about that we desire to remove and put us, the 105 of us, on the same footing as the statute would have if we hadn't been carved out explicitly by name. For fun, I put in Representative Kelly, who spent 30 years as a representative, put her 6.79% in, and the state matched it. Did not receive the last 42 months, last 3.5 years, at the higher rate. Her take-home in retirement will be $840, which is 1/6 of the amount that Rep. Steve takes at the $5,100. This, in a nutshell, is how the split calculation works and how that specific carve-out benefits, in a dramatic way, the 105 of us. This came out of our committee unanimously with a do-pass recommendation, and either one of us would be happy to stand for questions.